Okay, so I was editing this thing, and it turns out I made a terrible mistake. I carried the camera around and pointing it at whatever I was looking at, and man, it is horribly filmed. I got motion sick just editing it, so I've learned that for next time, and I'll be doing it a little different on our next video. But for this one, I apologize for the Elmo's World style, motion sickness enhancements. Welcome back, everybody. It's still yesterday here, but we are starting to work on this project already, so I thought I'd start filming it. First off, this thing. This was just 30 minutes of work with some spare wood I had laying around in the garage. And I'm not sure exactly how I like it. I mean, other than being crooked, it's made out of garbage Home Depot wood, right? It's been sitting in the garage for a year, covered in crap. I didn't even clean it or sand it or anything, but I don't really care. It's just supposed to be for storing some motherboards. So it's all bolted to the bottom here so that it doesn't move. It's right up against the top, and that gives us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, should be 5. Wow, I have a hard time counting. 5 slots there, which isn't ideal. I kind of wish I'd put them closer together, but I was also hoping to be able to fit boards with tall heat sinks. So regardless, that is going to be better than storing them on the desk. And then I might stick another one under here so I have somewhere to keep the ones that I'm actively working on. In fact, I think I am going to do that for sure. So I have kind of longer term ones up there. But overall, for garbage wood that split 30 times while I was putting it together, I think it's pretty sturdy, so whatever. Good enough. I'm going to throw some boards in it and then I'll get you an update. Cool, so I think I actually like the bigger spacing here, and I'll tell you why. First off, for combined projects like this, where there's, I've got a CPU and RAM and stuff already in it, or this, where there's 2 different boards, makes it really easy to just keep it all in one. Woo! Sorry. One slot. Or for like this, look how perfectly that fit in there with that CPU already mounted on it. Also, for full-size boards and boxes, it fits really well there. So, no complaints here. I think that's already taken a lot of the stuff off the desk. I've already been stacking some of it back up in here. There are a few that are in kind of the fix-it pile or junk pile, where we have things back in here that, there are a few that ultimately I'd love to have all these stacked the same way, and maybe I'll look at adding some shelves like I did here, but the other direction, so just slots that way or something, make it easy. But then I've got all this dead space behind that on this cupboard, so I don't know. We'll figure something out. For now, I'm just going to leave that one. This is kind of the junk, and I'm going to keep the customer boards or active projects on these things. So I'm going to go start working on another one, and we'll probably end up throwing it right here. So I'm thinking right over here in this area, so that I can still get to this machine over here, but it's real easy to store stuff right next to where I'm going to actually be working on it, because I've still got all these boards to go through. So yeah, gonna get to it. There it is. Just pretty much made the exact same thing as that one, but with all the wood I had left, and it happened to fit alright, so there it goes. I'm just keeping some of my unsorted parts on the bottom, and then just random shelving space. Obviously if I cared, I would make deeper shelves, but these are stable enough because of the wide feet. And I really don't care. I just wanted it done. This took me, what, 20 minutes since I made those ones? So there you go, shelves. Now I can worry about some other stuff. Happy Monday, everybody. I guess we're about where we left off with these 2 shelves. Weekend got a little crazy, so I think what we're gonna end up doing is just set up a tripod about here and start cleaning. What do you think? Oh yeah, you can't answer. So we got a whole bunch of stuff cleaned. Let me just get it zoomed. There we go. So basically, I mean, first of all, the camera battery kind of died halfway through, so you missed some of the time lapse, I guess. But the idea with all this is we're gonna, I wanted to get a spot to work on some of these projects a little bit better so that it doesn't clutter it up. So we've got the same monitor that I was using before, and that's on some cables here. Hooked up this one, and that's got a set of cables here, and so we can hook up two project computers. But one of the issues I was having is I like to benchmark all of the hardware that I sell, and so I have some kind of these machines up here are all for benchmarking. Then I have charts where I can compare them to other hardware, and that's what I would do here. This is the iMac. I didn't actually cover this in the tour the other day, but I use this for my inventory and benchmark charts and that kind of thing. Data entry mainly. So I've got this monitor over here to make it a little easier when I'm doing data entry on this to just copy the benchmark results and such right off of that monitor. But I'm not sure I wanted everything right here, and so I'm trying to figure out. I have a couple of options over here. I've got this monitor set up, and I was thinking potentially of having this KVM. I've got a bunch of them, a bunch of extra ones. I was thinking of setting up a KVM to where I had a couple of these benchmark machines set up all the time, just over here somewhere. Maybe one of them on top of there, something like that, where I could just switch between them. And then I've got a VGA splitter, and I'm thinking that I might hook that up and put the signal over here as well. And then what that would let me do would be I could set it up over here, I could work on it, get it all working, and then start the benchmark or whatever, and then come over here and do the data entry. And yes, that seems extremely excessive, but when you don't have very much space in the right layout that you would like, but you do have 50 monitors and a lot of cables and KVMs, believe it or not, I think personally this is the easier solution for some of these issues than trying to rearrange everything so that it's all like. My other option would have been to put this little shelf thing over there, but I really like this over here because this is a great spot for keeping all the rest of the tools. I've got my cleaning stuff up all under there already, so I don't really want to move this. I don't really want to move that over there either, because I've got all the power supplies on that shelf, and you kind of see how things go in here. Everything stacks up. I'm trying to fit so much into such a tiny little space that if I don't just kind of go with it, sometimes I end up getting into these huge projects and the office ends up looking like this. So for now, I think we're going to leave it like this. I might hook up that VGA splitter, but then I think we're going to work on this as the first project. So this is a Pentium 3, I think it's a 12-10 core, 1.1 gigahertz or something like that, with a bigger cache, but that's what I benchmark all my for sale video cards with, because it's compatible with all three AGP types, and so I use that a lot. The only issue is this particular machine, I had a screw for some reason and dropped it into the motherboard and it shorted something out and fried it. I have a backup one of these, so my plan is to just rip the hard drive and everything out of that one and stick it in the other machine entirely, and then put this in the pile to hopefully fix the motherboard someday. Maybe, I don't know that it's really worth it. We might just end up recycling the pieces. This one I might end up decommissioning. I do have a bunch of benchmark results tied to it, so I'm holding on to it for the moment. This is the new benchmark system because it's a little quicker and it's a little more accurate to what I keep selling. And this one's so basically right now this one's for PCIe, and this one is for AGP and PCI on Windows 98. And that's the typical benchmarks I provide. So I think we're going to work on those computers and get them set up over here, and then just keep going through the office. Back over here, this is all stuff I need to take inside, and As you can see, I've kind of destroyed the desk again after I got it cleaned up. So, but for one day, this is decent progress, and I think we're gonna leave it at this for today, and then I don't know, keep doing updates as we go. If this is interesting to you, or there's anything in particular you want to see detailed videos about, leave me a comment. Like and subscribe, YouTube, blah blah blah. You guys know what to do. Thanks. Have a good night.